Okay, I want to show how I made the recent picture, so I'm going to go through it again. I'm in Adobe Photoshop, and the first thing I want to do, I've opened the picture, and I want to duplicate this layer. And the next thing I want to do is I want to make a black and white version of this layer. So I go to Image, Adjustments, Invert. And I see that's a little light, so I'm going to go to Levels, which is Command L, and make the midtones a little darker. Now I want to make this black and white. So I go to Image Adjustments, Black and White. And what I can do here is adjust each color. But now I've decided that before I do this, I want to alter the original image, so I'm going to delete this layer. And I'm going to start here, and I'm going to make selections and copy. And I have 20 pixel feathering, so the copy won't have sharp edges. So I'll take a portion. I'm holding down Command and Option, and I do that for a while. And then I'll pick a leaf, and I'll copy that. And then I'll pick another one of the, whatever they are, the red thingies, and do that. And I'll pick some yellow here and do that. Okay, so you get the idea. Now I'm going to delete the selection and copy this layer. And then I'm going to invert the layer, adjustment, invert. And now I'm going to darken this slightly. Then I'm going to convert to black and white, adjustment, black and white. And each color gives me a lot of choice as to what I want to do with it. So conversion is not just a mechanical thing, but you have 6 choices how each color is going to be converted. And kind of my guiding principle is what we used to do in printing, not trying to make the print the right darkness or lightness, but rather going too far and then coming back. Okay, I have this where I want it. So now I have a black and white copy and the original. Now I want to draw a picture. So I'm going to do a blank layer, and what I can do is hide these. So all I have is uh, a black paintbrush. And I can make the brush a little bigger. And I'm going to draw a figure. I like drawing with I have a trackball. because it has a mind of its own. So the ancient Jews believed that all thought came from God. I think all drawings come from God. And so by not having so much control, God's able to do more. And that's pretty funny for a guy who doesn't believe at all in God. So I think God does drawings. Okay. And so here, and I had a pipe before. So I'm going to put the pipe here. He's not holding the pipe like he did before. Kind of interesting. The mistakes you make give you a lot of freedom. Okay. And there's some smoke coming out of the pipe. And go like this. The hands in the air kind of represent exasperation, like I'm exasperated. And everyone needs a bow tie because it's the day before the end. It's the last day of the year, so you should be dressed up, and we'll put a shirt and buttons. And it's really gloomy outside, a lot of rain, so we'll put a bright sun here. Okay, so now we have the drawing. And now what we're going to do is we're going to select the area inside the drawing. So the way we do that is we take the selection tool, and if I press the cap locks on, then it becomes just a crosshair, which is easier to control. And if I hold down the shift, oops, I have to go back to there. And if I hold down the shift key, I've now selected the figure. I want to leave the bow tie in color, and I want to select the face, and I want to select maybe some of these areas, and oops, so I can go back one step. I selected too much there, and I want to select the sun. Okay, so those are the areas that are going to be in color. Now I create a layer mask. So let me turn these on, and I select this black and white layer, and I have the selection picked out. And then by doing a layer mask, it creates it puts color everywhere that I didn't select. So I'm blocking out certain areas, not blocking out the other. If the last one I did, the figure was black and white, and the outside world was in color, but because it's a dreary day, I'm going to invert that. And to do that, I can create what's called an adjustment layer on the whole thing, like this. And that didn't do too well. So what I'm going to do is invert that again. And that didn't do too well. What I could do is take this layer right here and invert that. Let's see if this works. Oh, I can't bring the color back. But let's try this. So I'm going to undo that, undo that, undo that. And so let's say I repeat this one here. and make this into a regular layer rather than a background layer. Okay. And now what I want to do, I don't know if I can do this. There. And now switch these two around. Hide this layer. There you go. And now we have the figure with the color. And it made a nice little white outline around inside the drawing. And we are done. We can eliminate this layer and make the file slightly smaller. Delete layer. Okay. And we are done. We are done. We are done. So, and now I'm the one with color and the background is black and white. I also did like an oil paint texture on the background. And so rather than that, I'm going to do an oil paint in the figure. I have the figure layer selected, and that not the mask with the layer. And then I go to Filter, Render, Stylize, and Oil Paint. And I go like this, and now it gives a texture inside the figure, which makes the figure come forward a little bit more. Let's say I wanted a white line on the outside of the drawing. I select the drawing and then select the background like this. And I have to select this area, add this area to it. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to stroke this on the inside with white. So I go, oops, stroke. This is 50 pixels. That's a little much. 20 pixels, white. Here, inside, like that. And that's too much, way too much. So I'm going to do it again. Stroke, and I'd say it's about 5 would be. I just want a little white line. That's that, but I don't like white. So what I'm going to do is undo that and do it in blue. So I'm going to, rather than introducing a new color, I now have blue as my foreground color, and I'm going to stroke it in blue. Stroke it in blue. And there we have the blue. We have like that. And that's pretty cool. Okay. I think this is done. So that will be my picture for the day. It's a slight bit dark. They tend to come out darker when they go on to Facebook or Instagram. So what I'm going to do is do a brightness contrast adjustment layer and make it a little brighter. In fact, the way I do it is if I make it a little too bright, there, it tends to be pretty good. And I can adjust the contrast here. And I think that's just about the way I want it. Okay, so that's how I make a picture.